on Monday morning, Tim Pool, who is a media personality and a journalist who runs the Timcast IRL podcast, had his home burglarized. And as we all know, I mean, anybody who follows him on Twitter, the infamous 9mm round through the kitchen wall, which is not a joking matter. I make light of that because it's funny. He kept making reference. If you're a consumer of his like content, and I watch most of the things that he puts out, so it's like you're gonna hear him talk about this same 9mm bullet like 36 times, and he says it every time with the same emphasis because of how he talks. That is just like, okay, all right, we get it. Like the people who are following him, they made that joke, but this is not a joking matter because these kind of attacks, this kind of negative attention that's been coming his way has been happening for a while now with increasing intensity, and it has amalgamated to this. And he makes some good points about why he believes that this is happening that I think that is worthy of discussion. So for starters, I have limited details because he's releasing limited information, obviously, because it's under investigation. He wants to take care of his personal safety before he goes out and makes a story of it. And I respect that. But from what we know thus far, around 7 a.m. on Monday, he had two gentlemen break in through his window downstairs of his home in Virginia, West Virginia, I want to say it is. And basically, a round ended up getting fired, not from them, from the side of security, from the home dwellers. And basically, nobody was struck as far as we know, but the two gentlemen were arrested and are under investigation. I'm pretty sure they were arrested and under investigation. But they actually left a wallet with an ID, hair in my mouth somehow, on the crime scene, and didn't actually take anything, which is leading Tim, first and foremost, which is funny because he's the leading, kind of person in these kind of news, whether it's happening himself or not, to speculate that it was more than a robbery or a burglary attempt. Could have potentially been an attempted assassination, or could have attempted to be a political move or stunt. There's not enough information for me to put my own opinion forth. I do think it's worthy of note and it's interesting, and I'm happy that he's leaking this information. But similar things, as he goes on then in a video that he released earlier today to talk about how compromised him, people like Matt Walsh, people like Elon Musk's safety is because of being doxxed, basically. Specifically, him and Matt Walsh are constantly being doxxed on Twitter. So he reached out to Elon to find when is this kind of stuff going to be able to be stopped. And he made a very good point that I think we all do need to think about and let soak into the reality of where we are. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene is a sitting representative in United States politics and cannot stop herself from having doxing and assassination attempts, had to, just cause harm in her life to her and her loved ones, threats, things like that. They're not stopping it for them. And it's not even about whether or not they can or can't stop it now, more so about whether or not they want to stop it. Because we have at every level of authority, government, police, military, FBI, we have people who have infiltrated the ranks with their own thoughts and opinions on how to save the country. And I understand that we all have our own thoughts and opinions on how to save the country. A lot of it is because we care about it. A lot of it is because some people just want to see the world burn and destroy it. And reaching a happy medium is something that, of course, would be beneficial to us all as United States citizens. I mean, this is where we live at the end of the day. One way that's not going to be attained is by assassinations and all of the different things that come with degenerative society, like society that's crumbling into an anarchistic nature. If we can't get over our tribalism and reach a middle ground, these kind of things are going to escalate. I mean, they are, and they're going to continue to escalate to a level where we're so close to, I mean, violence in the streets. And I'm not trying to be a doomsayer or somebody who's like, like trying to incite or strike fear into anybody. I just want us to be very realistic about the things that we're saying. And the fact of the matter is that members of Congress, members of the Senate, high-ranking political officials and United States representatives cannot keep themselves and their families safe through means of the government. They're resorting to privatized security, as most people of interest have been and are going to have to in the near future and moving forward from here. And I know the average person is like, well, okay, I'm not a high profile person. What would I have to worry about? But at this level of polarization, it's not going to be too crazy to see people being targeted for the type of clothes that they are wearing. If you're wearing anything that says that what your beliefs are, any type of thing that you support, it's not going to be hard to see people in the streets being harassed for listening to the right radio program, and you pull up at a stop sign and people notice what you're listening to, or things like that, putting signs out in front of your yard for which politician you voted for. These things are going to make you targets. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, so you have to hide your beliefs and hide who you are, because I would not ever do that myself. We're saying we have to be prepared. We have to think about it through that lens. We cannot make light of this situation any further or think that all of this is going to blow over easily or peacefully or without conflict of some sort, whether it be verbal or physical. I'm definitely not trying to incite or rally people to take to the streets or do anything. I'm just saying we're getting eerily close to that time. So let's be mindful and let's be aware. And the only way to avoid those kind of things and mitigate that kind of destruction would be facing it with full awareness. So that's what I'm trying to encourage here.